4 more years and then what? Have you asked yourself this? Everybody's wanting Trump to win. Everybody's expecting Trump to win. His popularity is skyrocketing. He got over millions and millions of dollars of donation right after he was convicted of 34 felony counts. But have you asked yourself, 4 more years and then what? You're also starting to see some prepper channels come on here, and some of them are upset about all this, right? You've got channels now telling you to fly your flags upside down, that this is it. They're not putting up with it no more. And if that's all you're willing to do, to put a stop to this, well, then it's just going to keep going. Plain and simple. Everything's going to keep going the way it is. It's just going to keep getting more and more crappy, and we all know that. Now, what I mean by Trump winning the presidency, all right, 4 years from now, where are we? Where are we at 4 years from now? People are going to say, well, the economy's going to get back on track. It's going to be better. You're going to have more money in your pocket. There's going to be more jobs in America. There's going to be this, that. Grocery prices are going to come down. Housing prices are going to come down. Gas prices is going to come down. Ask yourself this. If gas was down to 50 cents a gallon right now, the money that you're saving on that gas, you would have to pay for. You would lose it right back in food, taxes, or something. You realize that, right? Guys, it's plain and simple here. Plain and simple. If Trump wins the presidency, it's not going to fix this overnight. I still firmly believe they're propping the economy up because they're expecting Trump to win or be selected. Either way you want to look at that. And then they're going to let the economy crash around them. All these CEOs that's got all these high prices that's sitting up there, all the owners of these businesses. I've told you, all the money that we're seeing that we're spending at grocery stores, hardware, wherever you're spending the money is greed. Yes, mom and pop stores are having to raise their prices because their suppliers are raising prices to get the products to them and for the products. But when you get to the very top of the chain, it's simple as greed. Simple as greed. Greed. It's been like that since the beginning of time pretty much, right? I mean, it's not a supply and demand issue. Inflation is not transitory like they told us it would be. I mean, it's got to the point now where you look around and you're like, I'm never going to financially recover from this. Seriously, you've all probably seen the Facebook meme or the YouTube video with that on there from, what was it, Tiger King? It's the truth, though. I mean, let's say you get 4 years break. Now, this is going to be a gross analogy. Some of you may be like, you're probably going to tune out as soon as I start this. But I want you to listen. I'm going to give you an analogy that most anybody can understand of what this 4 years of Trump is going to be like. Let's say you eat peanut butter. You enjoy peanut butter, right? Well, peanut butter constipates you severely, right? You realize, well, if I quit eating peanut butter, I can go to the bathroom normal. So you quit eating peanut butter for 3.5, 4 years, right? Well, in that 4th year, you go back to eating peanut butter and you're back constipated, right? That's the way this is. That's a simple analogy. Some of you may think it's gross or stupid or whatever, but you might get a 4-year break here. But your 4-year break is not going to be the change all be all. All this stuff with a lot of the channels on here, and Americans in general are upset over this verdict on Trump, right? Number one, all you've done is going to make him an outlaw president. I wanted to do a t-shirt, which one of my daughter-in-law, she prints t-shirts. I didn't mention it to her. Now that I say this, somebody will make this t-shirt, but Trump, the outlaw president. That t-shirt would sell. Maybe I should break out my screen print stuff and start making some t-shirts, right? But anyways, after 4 years, where are we going to be when Trump wins this election? And it's just a 4-year hiatus, right? 4-year hiatus. That's all it is. They already know what's going on. They already know that the economy is crashing. We are in a recession, definitely, no matter how many times they change the definition of it, and quite possibly in a depression. Quite possibly already there. We're already at World War III, right? And now you also got Biden, right after Trump was convicted, coming out saying, well, now Ukraine can use weapons offensively into Russia. Y'all remember all that? We're not going to send this. We're not going to send that. Only defensive weapons. Even Putin. I mean, guys, this is all. You remember the other day when we talked about a pot of macaroni or spaghetti noodles boiling over, the foam boiling over the top? but they got that, you put that wood spoon across it and it doesn't boil over, they're fixing to yank that spoon off and everything's going to boil over. It really is. I understand everybody wants to hold out hope. You know, they're like, oh, things are going to get so much better when Trump wins this election, which for some people it will. Don't get me wrong. But you also got to understand something. They're going to fight him every turn. Every turn. You know, your congressman, your senator, they're going to fight everything that Trump tries to do, right? I'm surprised they're not trying to get some law passed right now saying that for a convicted felon cannot run to be president. That's probably what they're going to try to pass through before the election. They're probably going to try to come up with a new amendment or something, right? Because they don't want this man as president. I don't understand why they're so scared of him. Everybody's like, well, it's because he's not a career politician. He's a career businessman. A career politician is a businessman. They do it for the money, right? We all heard of the insider trading and all this and that going on, you know. And Trump's age, he's getting up there, right? I'm not saying he's anywhere like Biden. I'm not saying that. We can all see Biden, possibly something wrong with him, right? Mentally or physically. Trump's getting up there in age too. And all these people are worried that he's going to go to jail, or not worried, they're wanting him to go to jail and all this and that. You got to understand, he's going to appeal this. And that's going to take years to get back in front of court. How long, I don't know. But I will say that his court proceedings were some of the fastest proceedings I've ever seen in my life, as far as you get arrested, you go to court, right? I mean, they're pushing this really hard and pushing it fast to get it in court to get these convictions. Let's say Trump gets convicted and does go to jail, which I don't see that happening. And he wins the presidency. They don't get an amendment passed or something like that, and he wins the presidency, right? You realize how odd this is going to be? Do you realize that you're commander-in-chief, you're president, in a jail cell running the country? That's going to be some crazy stuff. I've already heard that the Secret Service met with the officials in New York to try to figure out what to do if he does go to jail, right? I can't prove that. It's not inside information. I just seen another video that was talking about that, right? That they're already meeting trying to figure this out. The lengths they're willing to go to prosecute him and to get convictions on him, how much easier is it going to be to come after you or I, right? I'm telling you, the disinformation stuff's going to be next, where if you get on here and you say something that goes against the status quo, it's going to come to the point where you're either going to get sued, you're going to get arrested or something, right? We all know that's headed here. You got to remember, Biden wanted the disinformation committee, board type deal put into law. And from what I understand, it hasn't been put into law yet, but they're still trying to get that stuff because they want their narrative to be the only narrative that's out there, right? That's the only way they want it. What I say is it. If I say it's this way, that's the only way it is, and you're not allowed your opinion anymore. Guys, we're slowly getting more and more into communism here, where you're not allowed to come on here and discuss your opinions or in public. Now, you got to understand, if you're making videos for YouTube, you're posting videos for YouTube, that agreement that you click I accept on, you're working for that company. It's no different than if you work for Walmart or anywhere, right? You got an agreement to where you can't do certain things at that job, and you got to understand it. Is it fair? No, but that's the way it is because you're working for someone. Perfect analogy, if you was having somebody come work on your house, right? You hired somebody, say, to do your plumbing, and you come in and they were drinking or they were smoking weed or popping pills or doing some kind of drugs, right? You have the ability to fire that person. It's the same way on social media. It's not right on social media for getting in trouble for speaking your opinion, but you do agree to it when you start making videos. Who's going to be the president after Trump? That's where you get all these YouTubers that are so upset that, flying their flags upside down, cussing on their videos, saying, this is it, I'm done with it. I'm not putting up with this no more. Turning a flag upside down, it's showing, that, hey, but that does nothing. You're not changing nothing by that, right? I mean, you even have channels on here now, Appalachian Homestead and Michelle and Kevin are kind of going back and forth because Michelle and Kevin took a clip from Patera where she was saying, Jesus is Trump, which she was actually saying that she doesn't look at him as Jesus, but how people can snip your stuff and use it however you want it. But you even got that going on now. And I have asked, because I have heard people talk before, I will say this, that they act honestly like Trump is the second coming of Jesus. They think he's going to come in and just wave his hands and fix all the world's problems, right? Guys, we're getting played everywhere we turn. All this is a huge show, huge show. Like I said the other day, if you or I got 34 felony counts, regardless of what they are, right? Do you think our sentencing would be a couple months down the road? No. You would have stood up, got your sentence right then and went to jail. You got money, things work different, right? We all know that. Also, 34 counts, how are you going to avoid prison, right? Number one, this stuff with Trump, I don't see how it can even be a court case because you've got money exchanging hands, you've got people agreeing to stuff, you know. It's a witch hunt. Plain and simple, it's a witch hunt. But you also got to remember back, too, that Trump was for red flag laws and things like that. I mean, you remember Trump saying Hillary was going to go to jail? What this reminded me of more than anything is the O.J. Simpson stuff. Excuse me, that's burp. I've never done that on camera before. Excuse me. It's the O.J. Simpson stuff. He got found not guilty. Regardless of whether you think O.J. did it or not, he was found not guilty. Well, when they finally caught him on something, you know, they threw the book at him. They gave him the stiffest penalty possible, pretty much, right? It's kind of what we're seeing here. Trump still has more court cases. I'm thinking all these court cases are to secure somewhere he will get a jail sentence. I think that's why you ever heard of people say, well, you know, somebody got arrested and they got 100 charges on them. Well, the reason they throw 100 charges on them is hoping just one of them stick, right? Just one of them, you know. But 4 more years from now, where are we going to be at as a country? Who's going to be the president after Trump? You're just getting a 4-year hiatus here if he wins. That's it. He can't run for another term. You see what I'm saying? I get why people are so mad and so upset. Me personally, I am too. I'm like, why is this even at court? You know, this is some crazy stuff. But he wins the presidency, you get 4 years. Then 4 years, what then? What then? Nobody is looking far enough ahead into the future to figure this out. Like, okay, well, Trump wins, oh, the world's better. He comes into office, when he gets sworn in January, by March, everything's back to normal. You know, it's not going to be that way. It's not. Some of y'all don't like that. Some of you want to hold on and believe that when he gets in, all the world problems are going to be solved. You're going to have more money in your pocket. It's not happening. It's not. If he comes in and he tells everybody, you got to pay your employees more, they're going to raise their products. All right? They come in and tell them, you can't sell your products here no more, but at this certain amount. They'll go sell them somewhere else, right? This is the new reality. We are I'm going to say we're pretty much in a depression. We're just not seeing it the way history has showed it to us, right? During the pandemic, if you had paid attention to the unemployment rates when people who were self-employed was able to file unemployment, you remember that? That showed a more true number of the actual unemployment rates. Also, people that has used up what unemployment they can draw, they're still unemployed, but they're not counted because they don't have no more benefits coming to them, right? Our unemployment rate, I guarantee you, is 10, 15% or higher. It's got to be. It has to be. All these jobs we keep hearing about that's been available and invented, they're part-time, no benefit jobs, right? We've discussed this. Trump wins the presidency. 4 years from now, let's see where we're at. Number one, if we're all still here. This stuff over there in Ukraine, you know, letting them use offensive weapons now, this is just going to, you don't poke the bear this much. You get what I'm saying? He's going to have to retaliate unless some deals were made, right? A lot of this stuff's done behind doors with money exchanging hands or agreements on stuff. But eventually something has got to happen over there, because once Ukraine starts attack, you know, Biden told them that they can now start using these weapon systems to attack Russia inside Russia. It's simply because them F-16s are coming. You remember F-16s were not going to be sent. F-16s are only going to be used to secure the airspace in Ukraine. Now they're going to have permission to go into Russia and use these F-16s. Now, I'm not saying F-16 is the greatest fighter jet in the world, point of it is, now Ukraine has been given the okay to attack Russia inside of Russia. Russia has to respond to this. When NATO is giving them the permission, giving them the equipment to attack them, it's no different than if somebody was attacking us. If we were in the same position, we would go after the country supplying the weapons to them. Plain and simple. I don't see how 4 more years of Trump's going to fix us. I really don't. I don't see how the world problems are going to be solved in 4 years. I don't see how you or I are going to have more money in our pocket in 4 years. Told you, they figure out a price point where people complain. They figure out a price point where people stop buying stuff. We're too high. Drop it down to where people complain. Because the people that do stop buying stuff at the level where people are complaining, you know, some people are like, I ain't paying that. The people that are paying for it but complaining are still, you get what I'm saying, they're still making their money. The company's still making their money off the prices. Have you ever in your world thought that we would see a president, former president, get convicted of felonies? You had Nixon, all these presidents. If you go back through time, they done something, right? Clinton, everybody's talking about Clinton right now, but somewhere down the line, every president has done something shady, right? But this is setting up a whole new deal to where it opens up all kinds of stuff. The red flag laws, the getting Trump getting convicted. I mean, we're going down, and we're going down fast. And I'm here to tell you, turn your flag upside down and cussing, saying you're done, you're tired of it. It doesn't make a difference at all. It does not make a difference until you're, you know, the only way for this to ever be fixed is the country has to start back over. It has to. That's the only way. And I think the politicians know that, and they're just fueling the fire, and they're trying to prop it up as long as they can prop it, knowing it's coming. You're starting to hear of a lot of these, you know, they know what's coming. Like I've told you 1,000 times on here, we can see what's coming, but we don't have the insider information that a lot of people claim they do to know when it's coming. All we're left to do is react to it. Plain and simple. We're in a position where all we can do is react to what comes. The key to that is to be prepared when you do have to react. That's the key to it. Money's tight, prepping's hard right now. There's still deals out there that, you know, at yard sale stuff, go look around for that. But if Biden wins the election somehow, 4 years from now, this will be 100,000 times worse than it is right now. If Trump wins the election, you might get that 4-year hiatus where it's not so bad. But what then after he's out of office? What then? What if they pass a law or an amendment saying, hey, before election they pass an amendment that you cannot be a president if you've been convicted of a felony? What happens then? People are going to be like, well, there's going to be riots and protests. Yeah, okay. It's still going to keep going on though, right? It's still going to keep on until all the American people stand up and say, this is enough. We need to fix this problem. That's the only way this gets fixed. It has to start over. It has to. You know, the economy's crashing. The laws are just absolutely ridiculous the way the laws are right now. I mean, guys, you've got to get prepped up. You've got to be prepared. Now, I'm not telling you the world's falling on your head tomorrow, but you've got to be physically prepared for when stuff does happen. You're able to react calmly and coolly to it, right? You got to be able to sit back, assess the situation, and then move forward. You don't want to be out here running around trying to prep when everything's going down. You know, Trump's sentencing is supposed to be in July, I think around the 11th of July, a couple days before the convention. I may be wrong on that date, but it's sometime in there. And of course, if he's convicted that day, he'll just appeal and probably get out on a bond. And his appeal, I highly doubt it'll be one of these where you get sentenced and go straight to jail. I highly doubt that. Have you ever seen anything like this in your lifetime? If you're my age, you know, under 50 years old, you probably haven't. You know, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Please get prepped up. Please get prepared. and turning your flag upside down and hollering and cussing on a YouTube video don't change much. Nope. Just gets you a lot of views and a little more money in your pocket. That's about it. But the only way to fix this country is it has to start over. Plain and simple, it has to start over. Everything has to crash and start over because we do not follow our Constitution anymore. We don't. Or the Bill of Rights or anything. We just pick and choose what we want to do and go by, right? And that's it. I mean, that's the way it's been here for a while. And it's just going to keep getting worse. This is a 20-minute video. Nobody is still watching this at 20 minutes. I'm sorry. We got off on a couple of side streets here and there on the video. But, guys, get prepped up the best you can. Something's going to happen. And we've got to really pay attention between now and the election. And I want you to tell me something. If you're still watching at the 21-minute mark here coming up, what next? What happens after Trump wins the election and then he's out of office in 4 years? What happens then? Right? Quit thinking right in front of your face. Think long term. You got to think further out than what you want right now. Because 5 years from now, this problem could be back and could be worse, right? Tell me what you think in 5 years from today where we will be as a country and how much better off we'll be when Trump wins the election. And tell me, how is he going to change all these problems in 4 years and fix everything? Please tell me that. Yes, I support Trump, so don't get me wrong there, but I also want to know why y'all think, how's he going to fix all this? You know, let me know your thoughts on this. Keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings at all times, protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person who can do it. Stay safe, keep prepping. Please share this video, please comment on it, and please, if you're here at 22 minutes, please put a thumbs up or a thumbs down on it. We are getting hardly any interaction between the people watching our videos. A thumbs up, thumbs down, it doesn't matter. Just give us some interaction. Stay safe, keep prepping.